All right, this is our last video for time period 1. We're on topic 1.7, which is causation in the time period. So these last topics always focus on a big picture skill where you take all of the information from all of the topics prior in the unit and you step back and look at the big picture. So the learning objective for this topic is to analyze the effects of transatlantic voyages from Europe, right? What were the effects of these European voyages into the New World? So when we are using the skill of causation in history, you're going to be asked to either focus on causes or on effects. None of your objectives will say, explain the causes and the effects. So this learning objective focuses on effects. And when we look at this, we want to look at both short-term effects, which are going to be roughly about 20 years, right? Roughly 20, 25 years after European contact, what were the short-term effects? And then we'll also be looking at long-term effects. You'll be looking at explaining in the long term what were the effects of these actions or these European voyages. This can be hard to do right now because we're just studying this information. And so we don't always know yet what the long-term effects are. When we get to the end of the course in March or April, as you're getting ready to take your big AP exam and reflect on the entirety of U.S. history, it's going to be much easier to explain long-term effects because you will have studied the years up to 2000. Okay, one of the things you want to make sure to do when you are looking at causes and effects, you can probably identify numerous effects, but you want to focus on what was the most historically significant, right? If there is an effect that is more significant than the rest, then you need to do some analysis and explain why that is more significant. And that's the nuance that you're kind of working towards as you work in APUSH, is getting a more nuanced view and being able to say what was most historically significant. So let's take a look at what we have for this time period. The big ideas or the topics we covered were topic 1.2, Native American cultures before the European invasion. We had topic 1.3, which were the motivations of Europeans in exploring, the reasons that they decided to explore the world and the reasons they continued to stay in the New World once here. Okay, topic 1.4 was the Columbian Exchange. And so this is about effects. What were the effects, the short-term and global effects of the contact between Europe and North and South America? Okay, topic 1.5 was about labor, slavery, and the caste system in the colonial system. And then topic 1.6 was about cultural interactions between Europeans, Native Americans, and Africans. And this was both misunderstandings of these two groups and the justifications that Europeans used to subjugate Native Americans and Africans. So these were our big topics of content that you went over in this unit. And now you're going to be asked effects. There were 3 major themes as we went through this. And so what I want you to do in this topic 1.7 is to take these themes and identify examples of them. So one theme was geography and environment. The second one was social structures. And the third one is America in the world. And I'll go over each one of these themes on the next 3 slides. So geography and environment means when we're looking at this theme in history, it's focusing on the role of geography, and we're talking both natural and human-made environments, the role of that geography on the social and political developments in what would become the United States. So this one is focusing really on this what seemed to the Europeans as raw, unused land, right? What was the effect of that geography and environment on the social and political developments? One good example here is the fact that Native Americans resisted European encroachment into their environment, right? That is a theme that we can trace throughout United States history. Every time Europeans or U.S. citizens later came into Native American territory, they resisted that encroachment into their environment. So that is geography. The second theme is social structures. So this theme focuses on how and why systems of social organization develop and how they change, as well as the impact that those systems have on broader society. So an example here is the Spanish caste system. The caste system is a system of social organization. So the question is, why did they develop? Well, they developed because the Europeans felt like they had a right to subjugate people who were less European. Okay, how did they impact these systems, or what was the impact of this caste system on the broader society? We start to see a system where skin color determines a person's social stature. So that's going to have short-term and long-term effects in what becomes the United States. Okay, the third theme is America in the world. And this theme focuses on the interactions between nations that affected North American history in the colonial period, and then later on the influence of the United States on world affairs. So this is colonial period. That means we're not talking about the United States yet, but we are looking on the interactions between nations and how that affects North American history. So this European competition, this European quest for gold, for example, how does that affect North American history? So that's America in the world. Okay, your thinking task then, as you study this topic, is to look for effects for each of these themes. Okay, look for big effect ideas and then provide examples, specific and relevant historical examples that support your conclusion on these effects, right? You are basically making a lot of little claims here. So you're going to make a claim on how European transatlantic voyages changed or affected geography and environment, and then you give some specific examples that illustrate your claim. You're going to use information from all of the topics in the previous unit. Your note sheet looks like this note sheet right here, this topic 1.7. It's in class notebook, and I also handed it out hard copy when you picked up your materials. So I want you to use this note sheet to help jot down ideas, help come up with some ideas for this. And then the final assignment for this topic is you are going to use Flipgrid. You're going to find the assignment here in our lesson, and you're going to use Flipgrid to make a 1.5 to 2 minute video analyzing these effects. So you're going to tell us these effects. So I'll put another video explaining Flipgrid and how that's going to work. So right now, what you want to do is go through and make sure that you know this information. Make sure that you've studied it out. And if you have questions, of course, always contact me. So happy studying, A-pushers.